Hello, everyone, and welcome to version 7.0.1 release webinar. We're really excited here at CurrentWare to be bringing this to you today. We have some exciting things to chat about. And, my name is Ryan. I'm one of your hosts today. I lead the sales team here at CurrentWare. And alongside me is Michael.
Hey, everyone.
Michael's on the product team. He's one of our senior technical specialists. So let's jump right in. What we're going to discuss today is some of the highlights from release 7.0.1. We'll demo some of these new features for you. We'll jump into a quick video case study. We'll tease some of the upcoming features that we're working on for future releases. And as always, we'll jump into a Q&A period. So let's get right in. This version was released to GA on May 27th, so just over a week ago. Some of the highlights here from the security side, we're really excited to bring two-factor authentication into the mix, as well as some reporting on admin activity, like log on, log off for admins. So from the BrowseReporter side, we've improved our tracking of application usage, which is included into the productivity score, and then tracking visits to intranet web pages, portals, and IP addresses, as well as the weekly performance report email that gets sent out. And then from the quality of life side, one thing that we're really excited to bring is an improved dashboard speed, loading up to 200% faster on the BrowseReporter side, and then integrating an improved SMTP client for email reports and alerts. So those are some of the highlights, but there's always much more that we're doing. I think, we have over 30 bugs, fixes, improvements that we've made. So to jump into some of these in more detail, two-factor authentication is something that I'm sure many of you have seen before, but from an enhanced security side of things, as a lot of our bigger customers are moving into different regions, adding many users, multiple admins, it's important to add this feature so that they can feel secure. So I'm sure you've seen this before, but Mike will demo it in more detail in a few minutes. And then from a productivity reporting standpoint, one thing that we've done and we're really excited to bring is an improved ability to monitor and grade activity from applications and website usage. So before it was just websites, but we're excited to be able to improve that and add application usage into the mix. And then we've reworked the grading window. So we've improved the layout and the flow for grading and classifying these productivity scores. And again, Mike will show you that in more detail in a few minutes. One thing that I'm also really excited about is as more larger organizations deploy this to their remote teams, the performance report has improved. So now every Monday, we're going to send out a more robust weekly overview of your organization or your team's performance. And that's something that we've been asked a lot for, so we're really excited to roll that out. So now we'll jump into a quick demo so Mike can showcase some of these awesome new features in more detail.
Thanks, Ryan. Going to take over the screen share here. So now we can see the new dashboard, new and improved. We've added the productivity to be able to incorporate both your applications and your website usage. So previously, when we go into productivity, you'd only really get a pulse on what your users were doing based on the website categories. Now that we've included it so that you can manage and organize based off applications and the web pages. So here you can see there is a default setting for about 100 to 200 of the most popular applications. But as of right now, any like home-based applications, things along those lines, you'll need to grade. So very simply coming into the productivity grading, you can see here, the name of the application or the website all on one layout gives you an idea of how much active usage it's seeing, how many users are using it. And then very simply, if for something like maybe Adobe Reader, I want to consider that a productive site, I can just come here, click it, set it to productive and apply it. Very simple. You can do this with any of these websites or with any of these applications here, and it'll update and show you on your dashboards for what the usage is for your environment. All this is helpful because, as Ryan had mentioned, that weekly performance report will also have some of these productivity gradings in them. So it does give you accurate readings, good percentages based on what you've selected within your organization. So as you can see, top fives are still much more productive, a lot less unproductive, as we can see. With more grading, you'll be able to manage that out, see what type of specific applications are getting used the most within your organization, see if the website usage, which ones are productive, which ones are unproductive, neutral, and then you can come down to the activity log, and then you can still get all these detailed information based on websites and applications. So that's a big improvement that we've made, very highly requested. Going into the next feature that was added, more on admin side, under the tools and logs, you can see we have two new logs here right in the web console. So the first one here is an admin login activity log. So anytime a user attempts to log in or logs in, you'll be able to see if their login was successful, what account logged in, and what operating system and browser they logged in from. Also, it'll note if they do have two-factor authentication on their account. The second logs added were for the allowed and blocked list and the blocked category list. And those are logs based off the BrowseControl's allowed and block list and the category list to make sure that all your computers do have the updated and current logs lists available for their computers and for the clients. So here you can see all the computer names, what group they fall under, how many they have. If they have an allow list of 4, allow list of 3, I can come down here and see the timestamps. This little action button will attempt to refresh it. You can also export it to an Excel or to a PDF. Same with the category block list. You can see I have a block list. Make sure that they're all at 5. Next one that we have is the two-factor authentication. So under settings, operators, and the tab at the top, we have two-factor authentication. Here you can enable to turn your two-factor authentication on. Once it's on, you have two separate options. The on strict option will have all users required to use 2FA, and they'll set it up when they first log in. The off option is moderate, which allows all of your users to individually select if they want to have 2FA on or not. For most organizations, you're going to have that on strict options where all your users are forced to use two-factor authentication just from a security standpoint, but it's up to you to decide. So let me give you a quick rundown of the setup of 2FA. It's very simple to do. So when I come into settings, operators, two-factor authentication, enable the two-factor authentication apply. So the next time I log in, I'll be forced to set up that two-factor authentication. So I'm going to sign out here and just sign in with my test account. And you have the option to do it based on authenticator app, such as Google Authentication or Authy, or to have it send out via SMS, so text message. I'm just going to set it up on the app here. Get my QR code. So now I've set that up on my app. There we go. Just like that, I set it up. Now, whenever I sign on that account, it'll ask me for the two-factor authentication code. The last new feature is the weekly performance report. Essentially, under your manage email reports, go to add a new report, and you'll see the weekly performance report. Here you can set up who you want to email that report out to, what you want to name it, and then you can select all of the users or groups that you want to have that report based on. And that report is scheduled to send out every Monday in the morning. That's everything from the demo standpoint.
That's great stuff, Mike. Thank you so much. I feel like these updates are getting better and better every time we go through them. We're, doing more and more every time, and excited to see where this goes. We were really lucky, actually, to catch up with one of our favorite customers recently, Vinny from Viking Yachts. And at this point, we'd love to share a quick video of what his experience has been like using CurrentWare so far. So we'll jump right in. Stay tuned for a quick 2-minute video.
Viking Yachts is a producer of luxury yachts and sport fisher boats. We've been around for about 58 years, and I've worked there for 24 years. And we're located in a small town in South Jersey, New Gretna, New Jersey. IT department is 3 people. The actual production facility is over 1,200 people. So production is the main focus there. We do have office staff. We have a population of computer users that are exceeding 530 right now. And we have multi-site locations, including Riviera Beach, Florida, Texas, and a few other service centers in Florida. Most of them are on site, but we have quite a few laptop users who frequent the entire world to sell products, and they are basically in our network with VPN tunnels all the time. Well, several years ago, we had a worker who gave notice about leaving. He gave us a 3-week notice. So we decided to monitor his activity, including file transfer. And CurrentWare has that ability to monitor every single file as to where it is and where it was put on a flash drive. So we were able to see that he had taken personally 400 files of designs of our boats when he chose to leave. We immediately seen that. We called him in, we called the FBI. He admitted to it because he was caught dead in his right. He knew that we knew, and we had the absolute evidence to take him to trial with it. He was going to work for a competitor in Florida. So he would have had the carte blanche of all the designs we used. And that would have been pretty catastrophic in a lot of ways because he would have been using our information to build boats there that we've sold successfully. CurrentWare then and now is still my favorite product. And I've been in this business over 26 years. I've seen everything. I've seen every monitoring program, and CurrentWare still comes out on top. We have all the data we need. We do a lot of penetration testing here. We're always on the watch for ransomware. And by looking at our clients and looking at the CurrentWare browser and reporting capabilities, we're able to see patterns. Malicious websites, sites they shouldn't be at, any type of site that has a VPN client to hide their location and tunneling, we can get right through that and figure them out in a matter of minutes. CurrentWare was the best solution and still is at the time I chose it almost a decade ago. There were other products out there, but they didn't meet the entire diversity I wanted. It's given me a lot of tools to be very powerful in this manner. And CurrentWare has a long history of being there whenever we need something. I can call you guys up and you're there. You go above and beyond in helping. You're always improving your product. I like that. I like the code you use, and I've been involved with suggestions for quite a while now. So you're very receptive.
That was awesome. As always, I love speaking with customers and I love learning about what cool things our customers are doing with the CurrentWare Suite and what we're doing to protect them from threats like that. Wouldn't want to be in Vinny's situation without the CurrentWare Suite in place. Always exciting. So I think at this point, it's important to tease some of the things that we're working on as a team that we're going to bring you in some future releases. So we'll just go over those briefly. We're working on some tools to improve the productivity scoring and categorization by groups or departments. So we've had this request from a number of folks that are looking to differentiate between productivity scoring across the marketing department or the IT department, because the things that they're doing online are different and what is a valuable or productive use of time may vary. And then another thing that's exciting is the reporting on dashboards. So the visibility and being able to drill down on things like domains and applications and categories within the dashboards. So we're going to tease that in the next couple of months, but excited to bring improvements there. Another customer actually reached out to us, and this is becoming more common, is to track application usage across organizations and groups. So things like being able to see across an entire organization, how much a product like Zoom or a product like Autodesk is either being used or not used. And there's some really cool decisions that organizations can make when they get that information at their fingertips. And as always, some major client connectivity enhancements to make the product faster, to make it work more smoothly and without interruptions and things like that. So really excited about that. And we'll be teasing more of that in the coming months. I think it's time to jump into some questions. please, if you haven't already, type your questions into the chat and we'll get to as many as we can today. The first question that we have is actually from Bill. So will you be adding more robust audit logs for admins, such as logging when a config change is made? Mike, that's come up quite a bit. Maybe you want to jump in and take that?
Yeah, that's a great question, Bill, especially with the addition of the new audit log that shows logging in and logging out, or logging in of admins and users. So it is definitely something on our roadmap. It's looking to be added within the next 2 versions. We're going to have the full audit logs when anyone is making changes, accessing specific pages, all those really detailed logs that you would expect to see when you're doing a full audit of an administrative console.
Another question that we've got here is relating to, sorry, I'm just scrolling, productivity scoring. Okay, so what is a good level of productivity we should be looking for our staff? So this was asked by one of our customers. So yeah, obviously this is a common question. So what is a good level of productivity? Some people will see 70% or 80% or 90%, and they don't know if that's good or bad. And we get the question a lot. Obviously, it really varies from organization to organization, company to company. Some teams work really hard, work really long hours. Some teams work really smart, really efficiently. Some have, more intense KPIs than others. Some have strict policies enforced to block a lot of unproductive apps and websites. And some don't restrict things at all and put more trust in the end user or the teams or managers to monitor themselves. And then with strong KPIs on performance in place, this becomes somewhat less relevant. So obviously, we're all owners of businesses here. We'd love for our employees to be productive 100% of the time, but that's just not really realistic. But what you should be aiming for as admins and managers is not necessarily a specific score, but more importantly, to monitor significant outliers and then generally seek improvement month over month on those productivity scores, or quarter over quarter. We've had customers who've seen their star performer, quote unquote, complain that they're too busy for side jobs when their productivity during the day was actually terrible, with a ton of wasted time on Netflix and YouTube. So it's really hard to give a blanket answer here, but I think that sort of sums it up. Seeing any questions on your end, Mike?
Yeah, I actually have one in my DM. It's
Great.
Do you have any recommendations or ideas on who on our team should have access to the dashboard? Okay, so that's a good question. Generally, you're going to have the management team. So generally the IT team, owners, CEO, generally are going to be the main access points into the actual dashboards. They'll be the ones that are interested in looking into that information. You actually have the ability to set operator accounts that can only access specific areas in your dashboard. So maybe you only want specific groups to be shown. Give me 1 second. I'm actually going to screen share this. All right. So if you come into the settings and the operators, again, you can come in here, edit permissions. So here I have a user account. So maybe Mike, I'm the manager of the marketing team. I give myself a password, edit permissions, and then, okay, oh, I do have a marketing. So I'm just giving myself, Mike, ability to see only my users and computers that are within the marketing group. So here, maybe I want to be able to do everything in the console with that group, but within BrowseReporter, I can only run reports. Something along those lines allows you to granularly set permissions on specific users that you don't want to have full admin rights.
Great. So one other question that I see here is for two-factor authentication, do you recommend that we enable this for our organization? That's a great question. So as we're rolling this out, I'm sure lots of questions will come up. But what I will say is that our recommendation is sort of variable depending on how many folks actually jump in and make changes in there. So from a security standpoint, Viking Yachts has over 1,200 people in their organization, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of licenses, but an admin team of 3. So our recommendation to them would be to probably start with enabling 2FA for those 3 users who are actively going in and making changes from a security standpoint. And if there are other folks that they need to have login to view things on a regular basis, and it is, imperative for them to monitor the security, they can grow that number, but I would start with just the admins who are making changes. How should we think about IT admins using the CurrentWare dashboard versus team managers? So yeah, obviously, if you're an IT admin, you're looking at things like bandwidth, looking at holistic categories like application usage across the entire organization, things like the sites that are most visited to make recommendations to leadership or to the network team about what to potentially block if you're using BrowseControl. But from a team manager perspective, what I'm focused more on is efficiency and productivity. So, individual team members, how they're spending their times versus others. If there are outliers on my team, if somebody may not be hitting a metric for productivity or for attainment, going in and actually seeing what they may be spending their time doing. If I notice that somebody's activity or performance is lagging for a few days and I want further evidence before potentially addressing things with HR, I can go and see a lot of the data there to provide more context as to what's happening. So to sum that up, on the IT and network side, I'm looking at more holistic things related to global usage, bandwidth, and then on the individual team manager side, I'm just looking for my individual performers on the productivity and idle time and unproductive website usage and application usage if I have an inkling or a hunch that something may be awry.
Are there any plans for enabling Web Console for non-Windows users? So from a accessing the Web Console standpoint, the Web Console itself can actually be opened on non-Windows computers just with the link that you would generally be using within your network. For example, if your server that you have CurrentWare installed on is CurrentWare 8998, usually the port, you can actually open that on non-Windows computers. It's just working through the web browser. From a client standpoint, we do have it on our roadmap to add Mac compatibility in the future. We don't have a specific timeline for that as of yet. Second question I had, we are running products like Symantec, Endpoint Protection, Malwarebytes, EDR, SafeTech, DLP. Which of the products can I replace with CurrentWare? So a lot of those sound like you're looking at device loss protection solutions. So the key protection there would be the AccessPatrol solution, which allows complete monitoring, control over USB and peripheral devices, cameras, SD cards, things along those lines. It allows you to granularly choose groups. If you want to block specific groups, if you want to allow specific groups, there's also an allow list. So if specific USBs are available for usage, you can allow those across the organization or across specific groups. We are in retail. CurrentWare will slow down PC performance. So the client itself is actually very lightweight. It's got a very small need for storage. It runs in the background. It's silent. You shouldn't see any performance issues when running the line.
Great. So, just to wrap up here, I would love to let everybody know that our reviews are extremely welcome. We love to hear from customers about what you like, even what you don't like about the product. And you can leave us a review to earn a gift card at currentware.com/review-us/. We've seen a number of reviews come in over the last quarter, and it's always exciting for us to be able to offer a gift card to folks who choose to spend some time leaving us a review, and we're very grateful for them. So happy to do that. And the last piece of information that I'll leave you guys with today is do not forget to upgrade. We released this on May 27th for general availability. And if you go to currentware.com/upgrade, you will be able to find the license pack to get this going. Thank you everyone so much for your time today, and have a great rest of your afternoon.
Thanks everyone.